I speak to you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I saw an amazing sight that literally took my breath away. It was the beginning of Advent a couple of years ago, and I was on a retreat, a silent retreat, on a farm that is part of a monastic community in the northern part of Massachusetts. During one of my many walks along the pathways that run parallel to the gray stone walls off the old homestead, I came upon a crucifix of Christ. It stood about 6 feet tall and was mounted on the edge of a high bluff that overlooked the Merrimack River below and the surrounding hilly countryside. There was mention of a cross in the vicinity, but nothing prepared me for the emotional impact of seeing this lifelike image of Jesus nailed to the cross. The wintry backdrop of raw, naked trees, dormant fields made the sight of the crucifix all the more startling. It was snowing lightly and everything was in muted sepia tones, browns and grays with a light dusting of white. There was a singular beauty to this austerity. It provided a stark relief for this powerful symbol of the crucified Christ overlooking what felt like the entire world. I connected with the symbol in a most visceral way. I was struck by the vulnerability of Jesus. His bare arms outstretched on the cross, his entire body exposed to the elements of nature, the whole world, and to God. It was an image of total surrender to an unseen God, exposing Jesus' human frailties and vulnerabilities, stripping all away that separated him from God. As I stood looking at this most powerful image of Jesus, I somehow sensed that I was keeping a vigil, a holy waiting, with the anticipation and hope that at the end of this life, there will be a beginning of a new life, eternal life. If it is true for Jesus, son of Mary, a young peasant girl, and Joseph, a simple carpenter, then it must be true for you, for me, for our children, our grandchildren, all those that follow after us, for the entire world. This is Advent. We wait in the darkness of these shortened days, and we can bear it because we wait with hope, not resignation. We are invited to a place of inner calm in this season, where we quietly prepare ourselves for Christ breaking into the world and into our hearts. But it can also be unnerving. In the darkness, we may come face to face with our own vulnerabilities, our own fears. Much like Jesus on the cross, we find we have been stripped of all that separates us from God. In doing so, we reveal the true person we are, our fears, our insecurities, including our need for each other and for God. As we enter into the shadows of Advent, we may find that questions we have worked so hard to keep pushed down, submerged and nicely tucked away, come popping up in our minds. These are the questions that wake us up in the middle of the night. They promise no answers, but only anxiety and sometimes fear. What am I doing in my life? Am I putting my time and energies in something that is meaningful? Will my business succeed? What happens if my health begins to fail? Who will take care of me or my family? Will I get that pay raise I need so desperately? What will be the results of the biopsy? Does what I do really matter in this world? Am I truly loved for who I am? A wise friend once said, these questions are from God. Their very existence is a manifestation of God being truly present in our lives. God gives us these questions to bring us to our knees. Our response is to pray the questions and stop focusing on finding the answers. Most likely the answer we worry about is not the real issue that is provoking the questions in the first place. It may be something totally unrelated to the question and much larger than the answer we seek, such as fear, unexpressed grief, or loss. If we are willing to live into the questions, we do so with the faith the answer will be known in God's time, in the fullness of time, not necessarily our time. In the process, these anxieties have the potential to be transferred into seeds of hope. This is Advent. Luke's gospel reading is what we call apocalyptic. Jesus warns his disciples of the nearing end of time, the last days before the second coming of Christ, the parousia in Greek for the Latin Adventus, to come, where we get the word Advent. This may seem a strange passage in which to begin the season of Advent, but isn't it especially fitting with the turbulent times we are living in now? The COVID pandemic is the apocalypse of our own time. After almost 2 years of fighting this plague that knows no boundaries, we are hypervigilant as we wait and watch what the new Omicron variant will do in our ability to fight this disease. We have watched the heart-wrenching videos of desperate refugees in Afghanistan, Africa, other parts of the Middle East risk everything to escape their war-torn countries. Our towns and cities are reeling with the fallout of racism and senseless gun violence as we continue to be a politically polarized nation. This is the wilderness in which we find our world, deeply divided and in great need of healing, justice, and peace. We are living into the darkness and uncertainty of Advent, this in-between time. Living with and praying our questions in the quiet shadows is exactly where we need to be during Advent. We need a much-deserved break from the daily demands that drains our energies and robs us of our dreams. Ours is a culture that can alienate and distort our innate longing for God's truth, the truth about our deepest wounds and our deepest desire to love and be loved. This Advent season, I invite you to choose one question, just one question that is on your heart. Pray that question, live that question, intentionally set time aside each day to be still and wait in the darkness with that question. There is nothing to fear, nothing. God is already in the wilderness of Advent, waiting for us, holding our hearts and our questions in love. God embraces us as we surrender ourselves to our questions, making ourselves as fragile and vulnerable as that tiny infant that will bring light into the entire world. The poet Rainier Rilke says it best. I would like to beg you to have patience with everything unresolved in your heart and to try to live the questions themselves as if they were locked rooms of books written in a very foreign language. Don't search for the answers, which could not be given to you now, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps then, someday far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer. Amen.